I played now for several hours the PC version, and what should I say? In terms of performance, this game is really bad in combination with my old Nvidia 3070. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't expecting stable 120 FPS in 1440p resolution, but at least I was expecting a stutter-free experience with, let's say, a frame rate between 40 and 60 FPS, but that's not even close the case. The good news, on the other hand, is HDR with my recommended settings looks really good. Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. So let's come straight to the point. Jedi on the PC supports the HDR system level calibration under Windows 11. So make sure that you set up this menu in the correct way. Otherwise you have not the correct or a bad HDR experience in the game. And just to prove a point that it is actually working, the Windows 11 HDR calibration, here you can see the result when I set up the menu for my LG G2 with a maximum peak brightness of around 1000 nits, and you can see the game actually outputs around 1000 nits. So this is really good and on spot. So what I found is when you increase the menu, the HDR calibration menu to the maximum, the maximum peak brightness is over 4000 nits. So after we established that this game supports the HDR system level calibration on actually all the platforms, but so far what I found, just the PC version is actually working as I would expect it. So but anyway, I'm hoping for patches for the consoles in terms of HDR and performance. I hope we get them soon, because right now this product is just unfinished. Anyway, let's continue with the internal internal game settings or HDR game settings for Jedi. And my recommended settings for this game, before you maybe try something else, change the HDR brightness to 75 and change the HDR black point brightness to 25. I wouldn't go above 75 for the HDR brightness, because at some point you have a very washed out picture. I found 75 in combination with the HDR black point set to 25 really good actually in terms of contrast, but there is still the issue with HDR black level rays. And then of course we have to talk about HDR black level rays, and I found there was always a little bit of a fog over the whole picture. And after I adjusted the fine-tuned dark area settings on my LG G2 or the CX, I found the picture much better. So with decreasing the fine-tuned dark area setting to -16, I was actually very happy. So please keep in mind, the fine-tuned dark area setting is just working in combination with VRR on the PC or the consoles. So if you have, or if you haven't activated VRR, then the fine-tuned dark area setting is not doing anything to the picture. So make sure VRR is enabled and change FTDA to -16. And if you don't have a fine-tuned dark area setting on your TV, then you can try to decrease the brightness setting on your TV slightly. But I'm not a big fan of doing that, because with the brightness setting on a TV, you will also change, or you will change the overall picture, the whole picture in terms of brightness. And the fine-tuned dark area setting, this one is actually just changing the lower end from the gamma, which is just what we need. And as always, of course, the question HDRG, dynamic tone mapping on, dynamic tone mapping off. So first of all, because this game supports the HDR system level calibration, there is no point to use dynamic tone mapping off, because you will just have a very bad experience, or let's say that these specular highlights are not really specular in my opinion. So my recommendation is clearly HDRG, because you can set this up for your TV for HDRG actually. On my LG G2 I had a great experience. The HDR effects are actually so bright and so detailed. I was really impressed. I mean, this is a complete different story to the very bad performance. But if you like dynamic tone mapping on better than HDRG, then just keep in mind that with DTM on, you may lose, or certainly you lose some fine details in specular highlights, as you can see here on this example. On the other hand, dynamic tone mapping on can give you a higher average picture brightness, as you can see here right now. I personally, I'm not a big fan of dynamic tone mapping on, because it is changing the brightness just all the time. And again, you lose very fine details in specular highlights. Okay, my friends, so that's it for this video. And I hope my settings are actually looking good on your TV as well. So put in the comment section what you think. And if you have different settings for your TV, because it's always very hard, of course, to recommend something even we have the exact same TV, because maybe my settings are actually slightly different, and we need to consider that my TVs are actually calibrated, so there is for sure a slight difference compared to your TV. But anyway, if you like my settings, put it in the comment section. And if you're using something else, then also put it in the comment section, because maybe I missed something and maybe your settings are actually much better. Thank you very much for watching me. I see you guys next time. Bye.